Welcome back to Stock School Daily.
To really get the foundation of this buying spree, we need to know what happened to Strive.
It all comes down to the deal they made with Semler Scientific.
This is the bedrock of the whole bullish thesis.
It is, and it's crucial for you to understand the companies here. Strive, before this, was, a corporate strategy and investment firm. Semler Scientific, or Semler Sci, was in medical devices, biotech.
So, not an obvious match?
Not at all. This merger isn't just a consolidation, it's a complete identity shift for Strive.
And the deal structure is key. Shareholders approved the acquisition of Semler, and critically, it was an all-stock transaction.
Meaning no major cash outlay from Strive. Their balance sheet was just instantly transformed by the assets they acquired.
Which brings us to the Bitcoin.
That all-stock deal immediately adds, a staggering amount of Bitcoin to Strive's balance sheet.
How much are we talking about?
The exact number is 5,048.1 Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yeah. To put that in perspective, that number immediately puts Strive in the big leagues of corporate Bitcoin holders. That single verifiable number fundamentally redefines what ASST even is.
It's an overnight transformation.
Yeah.
So Strive isn't just buying another company. They're positioning themselves as, and this is a quote from the sources, an ideal structure for amplified Bitcoin exposure.
They're making their intent crystal clear. This is not passive. They've turned the company into a vehicle whose primary goal is to provide maximized, outsized exposure to Bitcoin.
So when Bitcoin move,
they intend for their stock to move with it, but much, much harder.
This is where it gets really interesting. Once the catalyst, the 5,000 Bitcoin, was confirmed, the question becomes, who acted first?
The smart money.
Right. Which brings us to section 2, the insider confirmation. We always say, insider buying is the purest signal. They might sell for a dozen reasons, but they only buy for one.
Conviction. They think the price is going up. And the conviction level here it's remarkable.
The sources flag 2 major figures. Let's start with Matt Cole. You probably know him as @ColeMacro.
A big name in macro circles.
And the report identifies him as being fully all in. On January 13th, 2026, he bought 500,000 shares.
In a single day.
A single day. But that's not even the whole story, is it?
No, the magnitude of his accumulation is what's really stunning. That was just part of an incredibly aggressive pattern. The sources say he picked up over 1 million shares total in the 30 days around the announcement.
1 million shares in a month. That's not a small bet.
It's a profound vote of confidence. He believes in the team's ability to execute this new aggressive strategy.
And his public statements confirm it. He says Strive has the best team in the game to pull off this amplified Bitcoin strategy. He's clearly not looking for a moderate gain here.
No, he's anticipating a fundamental repricing of the stock. And then you have the second major buyer, Ben Workman, or @Workman.
His purchase was smaller, but still very significant.
Highly significant. 54,945 shares on January 13th. That brought his 30-day total to just over 181,000 shares.
What I found most compelling here was that Workman didn't just buy. He told everyone why he was buying. He gave the explicit financial thesis.
Exactly. Cole talked strategy, but Workman talked pure, measurable value. He wasn't just following along. He was capitalizing on what he saw as a clear, quantitative mispricing.
And that brings us to the aha moment, section 3, the bull thesis. This connects the merger and the buying to the actual dollars and cents.
This is why they were acting so fast. The motivation here really breaks down into 2 core arguments. The first is what we call NAV arbitrage.
Okay, so NAV is net asset value. Let's make the math simple for everyone listening. Why did Workman say the stock was trading below its Bitcoin NAV? Shouldn't the price just instantly reflect the value of those 5,000 Bitcoin?
In a perfect world, yes. But the market isn't perfect or instantaneous. The arbitrage exists because it takes time to accurately price a highly liquid asset like Bitcoin when it's suddenly, shoved into an illiquid corporate vehicle.
Especially through a complicated all-stock deal.
Right. So Workman was basically saying, the cash value of those 5,048 Bitcoin minus any company debt is greater than the entire market cap of AST at that moment.
So the simple math is, by buying the stock, AST, you are buying the underlying Bitcoin at a discount.
You're buying it on sale. Precisely. They are capitalizing on a fundamental mispricing evaluation gap. They see this gap and they are moving aggressively to close it. It's a pure value play.
But wait, calling it a guaranteed edge seems a little strong. If it's so obvious, Why didn't the big institutional funds just fix it instantly? Is there a risk here the market was seeing?
That's an excellent point. And yeah, the sources do acknowledge this. The gap often exists because the market is pricing in things like corporate overhead or maybe some debt or the future cost of actually running this amplified strategy.
Ah, so you're not buying Bitcoin directly.
You're not. You're buying a company that holds Bitcoin. The insiders are just betting that all that other stuff, the liabilities, the overhead, is tiny compared to the value of the hard assets.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, so NAV arbitrage is the short-term value argument. But then you layer on point 2, Matt Cole's idea of amplified exposure.
Right. And this takes it from just a correction play to a long-term growth play.
What does that mean, amplified exposure?
It implies a lot more risk and a lot more reward. The sources suggest the company will use its structure, maybe leverage, maybe debt, maybe derivatives, to make sure the stock price moves much faster than Bitcoin itself.
So let's use the example from the sources. If Bitcoin, BTC, goes up 10%.
Then AST is structured with the goal of going up 20%, maybe even 30%.
And how do they do that?
Aggressive balance sheet management. They can use the corporate structure to effectively borrow against the value of their Bitcoin and then invest that capital to generate even higher returns. It's a way to get leveraged, high growth potential inside a publicly traded stock.
So the thesis is two-layered. First, you get the discount when you buy the NAV arbitrage. And second, you get the potential for these outsized, amplified returns if Bitcoin appreciates.
And that combination is why the conviction was so high. It completely explains the urgency. If they waited for the market to fix the NAV, they'd lose the discount.
And if they waited too long, they'd miss the momentum from the amplification strategy.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pull this all together. Section 4, synthesis and conclusion. We've seen this powerful convergence. First, the massive verifiable influx of a hard asset over 5,000 BTC.
Which instantly changes the company's entire valuation.
And that's immediately followed by this incredibly aggressive insider accumulation. Over 1.1 million shares bought by just 2 key figures in about 30 days.
It's not just a signal, it's an undeniable demonstration of their belief in where this is headed.
And we have to just hammer this point home. Insiders selling can be noise, it could be taxes, diversification, anything.
The buying.
Buying reflects absolute certainty. In the strategy, the timing, everything. They are staking their own personal fortunes on this.
And the sources really drive home the idea that the insiders are not waiting. They are all in now. That is the strongest possible sign that they believe the current market price is the floor.
They believe they're buying before the crowd realizes just how big this change is.
That's the play.
So that summarizes it perfectly. We've unpacked the Strive merger. We've quantified the Bitcoin assets at 5,048.1, and we've detailed the insider's motivation. It's based on that NAV arbitrage, the on-sale discount, and the aggressive amplification strategy.
It gives you a clear blueprint for what they expect.
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more.